This is Peach Creek in Stalo Territory, Chilliwack, BC. This was the site where in 2019 Waterwealth placed its first temperature logger in the Chilliwack Fetter watershed, thanks to a generous donation and collaboration with volunteers from Chilliwack Rotaract. On May 18, 2026, a group of us gathered, as we do twice a year at several sites, to do an invertebrate survey in the creek as part of our contribution to a long-term study of the effects of road salt on salmon. Peach Creek is all constructed habitat, but some of it old and well established and important for a variety of birds and wildlife and for chum and coho salmon that spawn here. These are very young coho that would have hatched out just this spring. Coho stay in fresh water for up to 2 years, so it's very important for these little ones that their home stays clean and healthy for them to start out. The larger fish seen in this clip are coho that would have hatched out in spring of 2025. They may stay another year before heading out to the Salish Sea. You'll also see some of the much smaller coho that hatched this year in this clip, and one other fish that's similar in size to the smaller coho but that moves quite differently. That's a three-spine stickleback. Aside from those, can you spot the little one here who's not a fish? The one here who's not a fish is that thing that looks like a little stick on the bottom around the lower middle of the screen. If you watch closely, you'll notice it moves not quite the way you'd expect a little stick to move just with the current. It's hard to see its legs, but that movement gives it away. It's a caddisfly larva. They're one of the invertebrates we hope to see in invertebrate surveys because their presence indicates good water quality. They don't tolerate pollution like some invertebrates. Caddisfly larvae build their casings out of different materials. Some use bits of stick like this. Others use bits of stick too, but smaller and stacked crossways so they look like little messy towers walking around. Some use bits of grass or evergreen needles, bits of stone and sand, and sometimes you find free-swimming ones with no casing at all. Here we see some of this year's coho again, and here are a couple of three-spine sticklebacks. The sticklebacks are maybe my favorite fish. They turn beautiful colors in spawning time. The male's eyes can turn brilliant blue. The males build a little nest and then do a dance to entice a female to put eggs in it. When she does, the male follows her through, fertilizes the eggs, and then guards the eggs and the young sticklebacks for up to 2 weeks after they hatch. Some populations of stickleback live their whole lives in streams, and some migrate to sea like salmon do. Salmon get so much cred for the journeys they make back to their home spawning streams, but imagine doing a trip like that when you're a fish that only gets up to about 8 centimeters long. In this clip, see how the year-old coho approach the camera. I've seen young coho do this in different streams. It really looks to me like they're curious about the camera. How much intelligence does it take to have that kind of curiosity? Studies have found that the brains of wild salmon can be as much as 60% larger than those of hatchery-raised salmon. It's thought that the difference stems from the greater range of experience in the early days of the wild salmon's life. Hatcheries at times have been touted as a way to replace wild stocks that decline due to habitat loss or pollution, but you really can't replace wild salmon and the crucial ecological role that they fill. Salmon go to sea, where some feed other fish and marine mammals like seals and orca, and some live to grow large and return to feed the bears and the eagles and the soil and the trees and the beds of the streams, the aquatic invertebrates that in turn are food for the new young salmon. Salmon are keystone species, and there used to be a lot more of them. There's no way to replace the ecological and cultural value wild salmon provide. We need to make sure that wild populations have the space they need to carry on.